autistics and ADHDers when someone is watching them cook. Okay, listen, I may have never actually thrown the eggshells into the pan versus the actual eggs, but you can do something a million times and you have no issues doing it. But then as soon as somebody's watching you, you suddenly become aware of what you're doing, and then you suddenly can't do it anymore. Or you're so panicked by them just like standing there and looking at you that you also can't do it anymore. Which kind of doesn't make sense, because for a lot of us, like, body doubling works, like someone being in the same proximity works really well. Like, it can help you do things and be able to do things, but not when they're watching you. Just know. Hello BabyQueers and welcome back to my channel. We need to do neurodivergent memes again, and that's probably why I'm wearing a green sweatshirt, even though my hair is still blue, because I always do my thumbnails with green in them on neurodivergent videos. I don't know why, I've just started doing it, so that's what we're doing. But either way, you know the deal. Before we continue, y'all gotta get hydrated. So grab some water, or some tea, or whatever else you like to drink, and then we'll check out some more memes. Are you hydrated? Good, let's go. Inuit Otter Emliot, circa 1800s. Me remembering the thing I was supposed to do last week. Because this otter is just really cute. This is just adorable. I mean, look at that face. But also just too relatable, because I feel like, yes, generally humans do this, you know. But the thing is, if you're neurodivergent, you probably, because you know how you're panicking about the thing the entire time, but you're still not able to do it. But sometimes, right when it needs to be done, you literally just forget about it until you remember a week later. Or if it's something at work, you remember on your drive home and you're just like, fuck, oh well. So I think we can all relate to this cute little otter. ADHD brain. Let's solve 4 complex cases in under an hour. Wow, that was fun and exciting. Also, ADHD brain, you can't sign that form yet. Why? Because, you just can't, trust me. Okay, listen, especially like when I ask other people why something needs to be done a certain way, or if I'm just like asking them for a random explanation, and they just say, no, you have to do it that way, just do it that way. That is not an explanation, and it doesn't actually make it less frustrating at all when your own brain does it. If anything, it makes it more frustrating. And this is probably also why a lot of people think people with ADHD just need to pull themselves together, because they are capable of doing things. So if they see you not being able to do something, they just assume you're lazy, because, oh, you can do so many great things, but just not on control. He can't do it. We need the Spider-Man meme, you know, he can't do it on control. That's just ADHDers in a nutshell. That autistic moment when your fingernails scrape accidentally against the bad feeling surface, and now that bad feeling is stuck in your teeth. Listen, I saw this and I felt it in my teeth without even having touched anything, so you'll have to suffer with me, first of all. And second of all, this is also one of the things that probably just doesn't make sense to people who don't have bad surfaces or bad textures. But you can feel it in body parts that you shouldn't feel it in. Like, you shouldn't be able to feel your teeth at all, really, but then it's stuck in there and it's hard to get rid of. And that doesn't make sense, but it makes perfect sense, you know? Why are you so calm in emergencies? I have ADHD. That doesn't make sense. It does to me. But you panic in normal situations. That's ADHD for you. Only this on a constant basis, because people don't really understand it. Because again, they just see you be super calm in like a challenging situation. And they're like, well, listen, if you focus, you can do it. And it's like, yeah, again, I don't choose. I don't choose. The brain gremlin does, and the brain gremlin, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work on control. I can't just say, okay, I'm gonna focus on this thing now. Sometimes that works. Sometimes the brain gremlin is totally chill and happy, and it's like, okay, sure, this thing is interesting. Let's focus on that. I want to focus on that. But then sometimes you just can't anymore. And I get that from the outside, that doesn't make sense. But just accept that is the way it is. Person with ADHD. Oh shoot, I can't find the thing. Person without ADHD. Why don't you try retracing your steps? Person with ADHD. Oh, okay, I'll give it a try. Step 1. The thing was in my hand. Step 2. It is now very much not in my hand. Conclusion. The thing is inexplicably gone from existence. But it is. Because you ever have a thing in a set place, but it doesn't fully logically make sense that it's there. It's just like a random place you put it and that's where it lives now. But you always knew where it is. But then one day you decide, hey, listen, I'm just gonna put it with these other things where it makes more sense. Like if you keep scissors in a certain place, but they're just like, no, I'm just gonna put them with my pens or something. Trust me, don't do it. You're never gonna find it again. Because your brain's gonna forget that, oh, hey, it makes sense if it's with the pens, because like office supplies, it's fine. Your brain's not gonna remember that. You're gonna spend an hour looking for your scissors because you have no idea where they are anymore until you finally give up and start using a kitchen knife or something. Don't do it. Trust me. Don't trust it makes more sense and put things somewhere else. Just don't. Hanging out with other ADHD people is such a bomb. I can interrupt the mid-sentence and go, look at that nice duck. And they'll immediately turn around and go, oh my god, that is a good duck. Instead of just snapping at me to pay attention. Or bats. Because you're telling someone like a super deep story about your traumas or something. Because I honestly don't even fully remember what we were talking about. But I was just talking about something like very personal and very deep, and this other person that undiagnosed, because, well, self-diagnosis is valid, but not officially diagnosed, but just interrupts me and goes, oh my god, are those bats? And I turn around and I was like, oh my god, those are bats. Oh my god, that is so adorable. And then literally kind of forgot where I was going with the whole story, but I was not mad because bats. How to get a neurodivergent to drink water. Step 1. Put the water in a spray bottle. Step 2. Give the spray bottle to the neurodivergent. Step 3. Watch them never get tired of it. Honestly, this is one of the it's only stupid if it doesn't work, and in this case it would probably work. But listen, I get it. Water is difficult. Putting it in a spray bottle will definitely make it taste different. So I hope it doesn't taste too plastically afterwards, but either way, it's only stupid if it doesn't work. If this is what gets you to drink water, why not? Why not? Okay, Perry the platypus is my enemy, but I'm not like evil or something. He just keeps breaking through my window to stop me from doing ordinary things like washing the dishes or making the bed, and everyone keeps calling me out for procrastinating, and I always cry at them that it's Perry the platypus. Nobody believes me. Stop making excuses, it's just a regular platypus. I look behind me. Perry has taken off his hat and does the weird purring noise. Oh my god, I didn't realize this was a dream. I thought it was just a weird allegory for ADHD. How much do we want to bet that this person actually has ADHD and that was their brain's way of processing people being weird about it? Because kind of that. People just being like, no, it's not Perry the platypus, you're just lazy. listen, I just called it a weird brain goblin, but it might be Perry the Platypus. We don't know yet, because it can shapeshift. But anyways, it was a dream, sure, but it works really well as a weird allegory for ADHD, because that's kind of literally what happens. Somehow, instead of saying as a treat, I've started using the phrase for morale, as if my body is a ship and its crew, and I, the captain, have to keep us in high spirits lest we suffer a mutiny in the coming days. So I will eat this small block of fancy cheese, for morale. I will take a break and drink some tea, for morale. I will pick up that weird book, for morale. I'm not sure it helps, but it does entertain me. Again, this is one of the things that I found, and I was like, okay, it's not neurodivergent specific, but I am going to include it here, because kind of finding ways to rephrase things, or make things more fun, or turn things into a play, tend to work really well for neurodivergent people. Because if it's fun to you, if it's entertaining to you, it's gonna keep your brain engaged. Now, this might be a little bit harder to transfer to, like, having to do things you need to do, like, whatever, washing your laundry or something. But if you kind of try to rephrase it in a, well, if my crew doesn't get clean clothes, that's not gonna be good for morale, so I gotta do the laundry for morale. It might still work. Maybe go try it out. I don't know. Just a thought. Or find other ways to make things more fun for you, I guess. Okay, some tabs have been open on my phone for literally 2 years. They're like brothers to me. Y'all are sick in the head. Okay, I am sorry for getting attached to the white chocolate cheesecake recipe I opened in February 2020. As if it's my fault. I feel like there's two types of people. The one that just like close everything. Because they're like, oh, this is a nice recipe, but I don't really bake. I'm just gonna close it. Or the ones that are like, well, I don't bake that often right now, but I would like to bake more, so I'm gonna keep this open because this is a really fun recipe. I really like cheesecake. This sounds really delicious. And then it's just open. And if you get it, you get it, and if you don't, you don't. But it's a white chocolate cheesecake, so why wouldn't you keep it open? Okay, I'm crossing things off my to-do list. I didn't do them, I just don't want them on my list anymore. Okay, but that's just fair. Maybe not neurodivergent specific either, because I feel like a lot of people would probably do this. But listen, I'm gonna turn it around though, because neurotypicals kind of have very set expectations sometimes about the things you should be doing. And instead of viewing this as like an actual to-do list of things you write out that you want to get done, honestly, fair if you cross things of that as well, but just kind of being raised with like expectations of what you need to accomplish in life and what you should be doing at a certain age. Honestly, take it. Either cross those things away if they don't apply to you, like if you don't feel that's actually what you want to do, or just throw the whole list in the trash and write a new one. You know, because writing lists is super fun. Actually, crossing things off a list one by one, less fun. Being handed a list by someone else with things you need to do, though, is the most rubbish thing ever, so let's just not. Autistic people need structure. But you forgot the most important part. Autistic people need to be able to choose their structure, not have it forced upon them. Yeah, I feel like that's also one of the things people just struggle to understand is, hey, I'm giving you structure. Why are you not following the structure? Like, why are you breaking these rules I gave you? Bro, because your rules don't make sense. The structure doesn't make sense, so I'm not gonna be able to. Like, it's so hard for people to understand. Although literally, people generally don't like being controlled by someone on the outside. It literally doesn't matter what brain type you have, what your neurotype is. It literally doesn't matter. People don't really like being like bossed around by other people or being told what to do when they need to do it. No one really enjoys that. So why are people acting like it's such a surprise when autistic people hate it? That doesn't make sense, first of all. But second of all, yeah, especially if you have like autistic kids or something, maybe letting them kind of help create the structures will be a game changer. ADHD is telling yourself, alright, time to get started, every 30 minutes and continuing not to move. Me, well, time to get started. Goblin brain, it is, isn't it? Good on you for recognizing that. Me, well, thank you. Stay seated. It's like, oh, I'll only watch one more episode, then I get started on the thing. And then it's 6 episodes later. You realize you haven't left the sofa in hours. You realize you really need to be. You're probably also dehydrated. You haven't eaten in a while. Listen, I feel like we've all been there. But I feel like if you have ADHD, you probably hear a lot. You know? And I'm not even judging you because, same. Listen. There will be no denying that. Person without ADHD. Just take away all your distractions. It'll force you to get work done. Person with ADHD. Having removed all their distractions. Stares at the wall for 6 hours and still doesn't get any work done. Because you underestimate us. You literally just underestimate us. Because it's not if you have a clean desk, you'll suddenly be able to focus on your homework. Because little me literally spend 3 hours tidying up my desk and then starting to clean it and tidy up the surrounding areas to be able to focus on my homework. Well, guess what? Then it was suddenly dinner time and I still hadn't done any homework because I was cleaning my desk because I needed to have a clean desk for homework. Listen, I feel like it should have been obvious when I was a kid, but it wasn't apparently. My ADHD brain at random points throughout the day. So me think, why waste time say lot word when few word do trick? I kinda hate this. I sometimes don't feel like talking at all. I sometimes just don't talk. But especially if you're around someone and they're only saying like a few words or just like a few short phrases, or they seem like they're repeating their phrases. Listen, maybe just consider that they're overwhelmed and don't try to force them to talk more, because that's not going to be a good idea. If you find your neurodivergent person in a dark room, do not turn on the lights while asking, why are you in the dark? We're not lost bats. We know how light switches work. We can even answer questions if you give us a minute. Yeah. Newsflash, a doctor today thought I had migraines because I have pretty chronic headaches. Like literally every day. Some days worse than others. And he asked me what helps. And I said like resting and maybe like dimming the lights or like going into a dark room. He now thinks I have migraines. Is it possible I do actually have migraines? Absolutely. But I feel like any neurodivergent person with sensory issues might also just relate without having actual migraines. So, we're not lost bats. We might not have migraines. We might just need more peace and quiet to ourselves. And yeah, if the light is off, that is a deliberate choice. Don't just turn it on. My mom sending me articles about the good sides of autism and famous people with Asperger's to make me feel better about my own autism. Me, who never saw my autism as a bad thing, but is happy that she wants me to feel normal and accept it. Because intent literally matters. It literally just matters. And also, it's nice when people educate themselves because you know that she read these articles before sending them to you. Like, she's not just looking at the title and sending it to you. Because I think we all know people are really misleading with her titles of like articles sometimes. So you know your mom read these articles. You know she's literally just doing it out of love for you, and that's honestly just so heartwarming to see, and we love it when parents especially do this, but literally when anyone does this. ADHD or autistic people, when they get burnout, I think I need a break for about a month or so. Yeah, this is kind of what happens after like a very busy day at work. You're just like, you come home, maybe it's even a Monday, you know you still have to go for 4 days, but you're just like, I need a break for a month. I don't know how I'm gonna go to work tomorrow. I don't know how I'm gonna do anything tomorrow. And sometimes you can push through, and sometimes you, well, actually most of the time you probably really shouldn't, but I recognize that a lot of us probably don't have the luxury of, okay, I'm just not gonna go to work. Because, well, we need money, I guess. Alright, brain. This task is super important, so you can't drop the... I dropped the ball. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, sometimes it feels like your brain is a toddler. Because it kind of seems like we're parenting ourselves sometimes. Because it's like, okay, this thing is really important. You need to remember the thing. Put your jacket here so you don't lose it. Remember to take your keys. Listen, I never wanted to be a parent. I don't want kids. But I feel like maybe a big part of the reason is because I'm already having to parent my own brain sometimes. Hey, you should probably get started on that thing soon. Yeah, any minute now. Stress-induced adrenaline. I mean, if it works, it works. Do I wish this wasn't the only way to get things to work, really? Yes. It's not really the only thing, but it does work really well. And it's, at the same time, actually very stressful to have to wait for it and to know you're probably only going to do it last minute because before that you're not going to be able to do the thing. But listen, if it works, it works. Like, if it's not broken, don't fix it, I guess. But I guess what I'm saying, it can still be frustrating and kind of hard to accept how your brain works. Because I don't know if it's just like stigma from neurotypicals to be like, oh, that's not how it should be, which is ridiculous because literally even neurotypicals' brains work differently from each other, and it's ridiculous that we expect everyone to work the same way. That's just stupid. That's never gonna work. But honestly, it's kind of a journey, and it's kind of hard to accept that sometimes, you know? Thinking I have early onset dementia. No. Recognizing it's undiagnosed ADD. Oh, it's just that, okay. Yeah. I knew I couldn't have been the only one. Because at the time, I literally just thought it was because of depression. Because depression also tends to cause memory loss, apparently, for a lot of people. But I was like 14 or 15. So even for early onset dementia, way too young. But yeah, it was probably not the depression. It was probably the ADD or ADHD. Yeah. When you lose your train of thought mid-sentence. Is this a bat? Nice. Too often. Listen, I mean, you will have like internally just so many thoughts going on that you're probably gonna get distracted by those, or you just gotta be distracted because you can suddenly like see something, or a child fell on their face while running somewhere, or there's literally a cute dog walking past or something, and then it's just like, oh, what was I saying? And I feel like I kind of want to count how often a day that happens, but I know I would lose count and forget I was counting in the first place, and it would not work. But listen, if you're neurotypical and you spend the day with someone, maybe count for the fun of it. Okay, I have a theory that neurotypicals are the ones with communication issues, actually. You're the one who can't communicate with me, buckaroo. Neurotypicals will play four-dimensional chess about asking you to wash the dishes, and I don't believe that this is my problem. Literally, when I lived with my aunt for a bit, she said, it's supposed to be sunny all day, and supposedly that was her asking me to put the laundry out on the clothesline? Why are people like this? Why are people like this? I recognize that sometimes when you ask neurodiverse people, hey, can you do the thing? I recognize they're not going to do the thing because they really can't bring themselves to do it in that moment, or they're super involved with something right now, they're super distracted or like super focused on something else. Sure. But if you phrase it like this, and just like, it's supposed to be sunny out, it's just like, yeah, okay, cool, I wasn't gonna go outside, so I don't really care. You can't actually be mad at them for not doing the thing you want them to do if you don't ask them to do the thing. Like if you say, hey, can you do the thing later? Or, hey, please do the thing. I'm liking your chances that they will actually do the thing, because like, especially if you like live together somewhere, they'll do it. You know, if you don't really care when it happens, if you care about the time phrase, also maybe include that, you know, because if you tell someone, hey, can you clean the living room today? And then you come back from work and then you mad at them for not having done it already, and they're like, yeah, you asked me to do it today. I still have like 8 hours of today. Like, I'll get to it. And also, the more you nag them about it, the less they do it. But if you don't say it at all, like, don't keep dropping in on them every 5 minutes and be like, hey, have you cleaned the living room yet? I see the living room isn't cleaned yet. When are you going to do it? Yeah, then they're not going to do it anymore. Because no one likes to be nagged like that in the first place. But yeah, especially neurodivergent people will probably shut it off completely. But either way, not saying it at all is like the other end of the spectrum, and neither is going to get you the result that you want. So why would you? Even a neurotypical person wouldn't understand that. What are you doing? Just say what you want to say, you know? Anyways, I feel like that's enough being mad at neurotypicals for today. But I'll definitely be back with more neurodivergent memes and TikToks. So look forward to that. If you enjoy being mad at neurotypicals, feel free to check out my other neurodivergent videos, because I feel like I've already done quite a lot of those. But yeah, either way, I hope you're hydrated. I hope you enjoyed our time together, and I'll be back in a few days with my next video.